Tonight, we report on the sheriff's concerns about transporting prisoners to Moses Lake for trials, and we take a look inside the old Kmart building. What's up in sports, Bob?
Tonight, find out which high school basketball player was named WIAA Player of the Week and who WSU defeated to end an 18-year losing streak in women's basketball action.
Rain will work its way through the Columbia Basin this evening into tonight. In a few minutes, I'll let you know if it'll be out of here for your morning commute.
All of this and much more on iFIBER 1 News.
From the iFIBER 1 HD studio here in the heart of the Columbia Basin, this is iFIBER 1 News. Your #1 source for local news, sports headlines, and our very own Weather Center forecast covering the entire Columbia Basin. This is iFIBER 1 News, and it starts now.
The Grant County Sheriff's Office is concerned about the safety and cost of holding all the district court jury trials in Moses Lake. Sheriff's officials met with District Court Judge Janice Whitener-Moberg, Administrator Barbara Smith, along with Prosecutor Angus Lee, and the Director of Public Defense, Brett Hill. Concerns about potential jurors contacting attorneys, defendants, and witnesses, along with a lack of space, led District Court to end jury trials at the Ephrata Courthouse. All of the jury trials have been moved to the Moses Lake Courthouse on Wheeler Road. Sheriff Tom Jones explained they were more concerned about the effect of the jury trials on the officers who need to stay with the defendant while they are taken to Moses Lake. Transporting an inmate to Moses Lake for a short hearing costs the office 3 hours of overtime and requires officials to find people willing to work overtime. Jones explained the jail staff is stretched thin right now and the office doesn't have the money to add new deputies. Jones said, "At the end of the day, we want to be good stewards and good neighbors and do everything that we can to assist in the process. Our priority is the well-being of our employees, and if we have folks that go to these trials, however few and far between they are, and they have to sit with an inmate during jury deliberation, that's a concern for me. That is a safety issue for me." When construction begins on retail storefronts, everyone wants to know what is going on. Reporter Jeff Chu updates us on what is happening with the old Kmart building in Moses Lake.
A representative with Moses Lake Commercial Developers ASPI Group says the former Kmart building off State Route 17 at Stratford Road should have 3 new tenants within 45 days. The tenants will announce their openings in the coming weeks, according to ASPI's Kim Foster. Quote, "I think the folks in Moses Lake are going to be happy with the people we are dealing with," Foster said of the future tenants. The 93,000 square foot building has been undergoing exterior remodeling since last summer. On the exterior, the building just needs some final finish work and a coat of paint when the weather improves, he says. The 3 new tenants to be announced soon will finish the interior space remodeling in time for opening this fall, according to Foster. Contractor for the project, Russell Construction of Spokane, has begun the interior work, and Foster said the new tenants will finish it up for the fall opening. I'm Jeff Chu for iFIBER 1 News.
One of the changes across the Moses Lake School District for the 2014 year will be the Columbia Basin Secondary School becoming a middle school with a service area. The Moses Lake School Board has decided that the transition will include renaming the facility and is forming a committee of staff and community members to come up with 3 name options. The 3 names will be presented to the school board for their consideration. It was an odd police pursuit, one that could almost be called polite. 2 men led the Quincy police on a pursuit for 1.5 miles, obeying all traffic laws along the way. What started the chase was when the driver didn't stop for a stop sign and then didn't stop for the police car. The driver went home and got out of the car holding a 1-year-old child, who reportedly ignored police and went inside a house with the help of another man. While police and Grant County Sheriff's deputies waited for a search warrant, the 2 men exited the home and were arrested. Alonzo U. Guerrero Hernandez, a 22-year-old Quincy man, was arrested for suspicion of reckless endangerment in the 2nd degree, resisting arrest, and obstructing a public servant. Hector Z. Guerrero, a 52-year-old man, was arrested on suspicion of rendering criminal assistance in the third degree and obstructing a public servant.
Each of the people you see here has warrants for their arrest and is wanted by various law enforcement agencies. If you see any of these people, the Department of Corrections asks that you do not attempt to detain or apprehend them, but to call police. You can also call the Department of Corrections at 509-764-6180 during the day or 509-762-1160 after 5 p.m.
We'll be right back after this.
At Moses Lake Community Health Center, we have had the privilege to serve the local communities since 1978.
What I like about working at this clinic more than any other clinic that I've worked at is the patient care. With the patient care team that we've assembled, it allows us to take care of as many facets of the patient and their family's needs.
Please take the opportunity to experience the high-quality care provided at our clinics.
Hi, I'm Chuck DeMuerler, the new manager at Furniture West. Furniture West has been a part of the Moses Lake community for over 30 years. My team and I have expanded our inventory to meet our customers' needs. We have over 100 recliners in stock. We have a fantastic sleep center with dozens of mattress choices from the best brands in the business. Come see our great kids section with some of the most fun kids furniture you will find anywhere. We are your source for power reclining furniture. Check out our new selection today at 117 West Broadway Avenue in Moses Lake.
Hi folks, good to be with you once again. I'm meteorologist Miguel Montoya from the One News Weather Center. Your weather forecast is being brought to you by your Bud Clary Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. Let's check out the headlines making news along the Columbia Basin. We will continue to see a parade of fast-moving storms drift out of the Pacific and through the northwestern U.S., so we could see some rain tonight, especially early on, along with wind gusts to 25 miles per hour. We are trending warmer over the next couple of days, and you will see that in your extended forecast in a minute. However, a stormy start to the weekend along with very gusty winds along our area, so we will have to fine-tune that forecast over the next couple of days. But in the meantime, your almanac, you woke up to temperatures in the upper teens in Ephrata this morning, so it was a chilly start to the day. Temperatures rebounded nicely into the 30s, and we have seen some precipitation during the last 24 hours in the form of very light snow late last night into very early this morning. Moses Lake, you woke up to temperatures in the lower 20s, made it into the 30s this afternoon. We are in the 30s at the present time, courtesy a southwesterly wind. Winds could gust to 25 miles per hour tonight, and once again on Thursday, that will actually bump our temperatures into the 40s along the Columbia Basin. So we could see some rain, especially during the first parts of the night, but like I said, the storms are lining up in the Gulf of Alaska, and we will be looking at those storms over the next couple of days, with the main one being on Saturday. So the threat of rain will be with us tonight, especially during the first parts of the night across our area, maybe even a few breaks of sunshine. By Thursday afternoon, the threat of rain pretty much along coastal communities, snow along the higher elevations. That will tend to fall apart before reaching us on Thursday and once again on Friday. I think your best bet for precipitation will be along coastal areas. It will increase along the Columbia Basin on Saturday as we get this big spin in the atmosphere through the northwestern U.S., which will bring us rain and wind along our area. Looking good along the Columbia Basin and Yakima Valley on Thursday. A few breaks of sunshine, temperatures mainly in the 40s, but with rain along coastal communities. Taking a look at across our area, mainly in the 40s, although places like Wenatchee hanging on to temperatures in the 30s. Here's your extended forecast. Looking stormy the next couple of days, but looking good from Sunday on out. Closer to 50 by the time Monday rolls around. Well, folks, your weather forecast was brought to you by your Bud Clary Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. We'll be right back with sports.
Build anything with the new Toyota Tundra. Toyota, let's go places.
Bud Clary Ford Honda is proud to be an automotive leader in our area. Since opening our doors over 54 years ago, we have kept a firm commitment to our customers. We offer a wide selection of vehicles and hope to make the car buying experience as quick and hassle-free as possible. You can trust that we will get you into the car or truck of your dreams. Bud Clary has an experienced and reliable service and parts department that is open extra hours to help fit our customers' hectic schedules. Come for a test drive today at 1200 South Pioneer Way. We are a proud supporter of Columbia Basin Athletics.
Welcome back. I'm Bob Kirkpatrick with today's sports. Moses Lake Christian Academy's Alec Nakarada was named WIAA Player of the Week in Central Washington 1B Conference action for his performance in the game against Columbia Basin Secondary School January 4th. Nakarada hit 6 shots from behind the arc to finish with a game-high 26 points in the Lions' win over the Phoenix. Well, weather wreaked havoc with Columbia Basin High School sports last night as the majority of basketball games and wrestling matches within a 100-mile radius were canceled and rescheduled for a later date. But the Moses Lake Christian Academy Lady Lions got their game in against Easton. The Jaguars probably wish they'd stayed at home as they dropped the Central Washington 1B contest 65-10. Danny Sandberg led the way for MLCA with 31 points. Leah Galdera scored 28 points, and Washington State beat rival Washington 82-80 last night to snap an 18-year, 36-game losing streak against the Huskies. Tia Presley added 13 points, and the 3-0 Cougars moved to a first-place tie in the Pac-12 Conference with USC. Jasmine Davis led Washington with 27 points and 9 rebounds. The Cougars, who have not had a winning record since the 1995-96 season, had not defeated Washington since turning back the Huskies 72-67, February 25th, 1995 in Pullman. The Seahawks finished the regular season with the best pass defense in the NFL with 3 All-Pro selections in the secondary. Their best performance came when they shut down New Orleans in Week 13, holding Drew Brees to one of his lowest passing totals of his career. Now comes the challenge of duplicating that success in Saturday's NFC Divisional Playoff game against the Saints, knowing that Brees, Coach Sean Payton, and the rest of the New Orleans offense will try to counter what Seattle does so well. In the first meeting, the Seahawks were strong in 2 areas. They got significant pressure on Brees with their defensive line to disrupt his timing and did not allow deep throws over the top, forcing Brees to opt for secondary targets on short passes. Percy Harvin and Luke Wilson's return to practice raises the possibility of each playing in this weekend's game. Coach Pete Carroll said yesterday, Harvin made it through the 2 days he participated last week without any setbacks. Wilson's recovery is a surprise after he was taken off the field on a cart after suffering a high ankle sprain in the Hawks season finale against St. Louis. Well, be sure and tune in Thursday evening for our live coverage of the Warden High School girls wrestling match against Connell and Walook. The action gets started at 7. Well, that's it for sports. We'll be right back after this.
Well, one thing I knew from being a patient myself was that a dental office is a scary place to come to. And so we wanted everything possible to make sure that our office is a comfortable place for our patients to visit. The patients that I have, my clients, have made me a part of this community, and we want to give back in every way possible.
6 years ago, my dad began having issues with headaches, sore throats, and constant fatigue. He tried treating the problem with over-the-counter medications and lots of caffeine. Finally, he talked to his doctor, who confirmed our suspicions. Dad had sleep apnea. He didn't like the idea of using a CPAP, but after trying it one night, he was convinced. We found everything he needs for a much better quality of life at InHome Medical.
Our spotlight story tonight is about a woman's battle with the rain in Soap Lake. Here with the story is Jeff Chu.
Mona Kaiser, whose home in Soap Lake was flooded after the city designed and rebuilt Main Avenue West, is awaiting a city decision that could lead to drainage improvements in front of her property. Kaiser described unusually heavy rains in May that flooded her yard and part of her home. The sudden storm caused rising waters 4 years after the road project's completion.
Back in May, mid-May, we got some really heavy rains. And the first one that caused the problem, I happened to be working outside, and I really like gardening. And so I was finishing up, I kept on going, and then I noticed that the water was seeping in my driveway. And I thought, oh my gosh, the stormwater drains must be stuffed up.
The water washed into her low-lying driveway and flower bed, then down the side of her yard into her basement shop.
So I ran up the street with a stick to try to uncover them, and none of them were blocked from the water going down there. But then the water starts coming from up the little bit of a hill there is, and actually from across the street, because across the street is actually higher than what I am. It just went through it was heading down to the lake, heading down to lower ground, and it amazed me how much it built up in that little area to really knock rocks away from the house and bark out of the beds and down into the shop.
The next day after the flood, she wrote a letter to the city and talked to the council at a public meeting in December after discussions with Soap Lake Mayor Raymond Gravel. She told the council how she was affected by the road project's redesign.
I found out what it was all about is that I was really ended up being the low person on the street.
Mayor Raymond Gravel said the city was awaiting an assessment from city engineering consultants Gray and Osborne. A representative from the consultant firm met with Kaiser at her home. Gravel said possible solutions include replacing Kaiser's driveway, changing its elevation, or installing a storm drain at the front of her property. It would be up to Gray and Osborne to come up with alternatives and their costs for the council to consider. Gravel agreed that Kaiser's situation is a priority. He said the driveway is below the existing storm drains and could be a future problem with water coming down Main Avenue from both directions. I'm Jeff Chu for iFIBER 1 News.
We will be right back after this.
Last play of the game, folks. Manning throws. Touchdown.
Hey, Peyton, what are you doing?
Tossing the dough. Just like you said. You want to throw one?
For just $11, get Papa John's new Chipotle chicken and bacon pizza. That's right, only $11 for a large. Plus, try our new mega chocolate chip cookie, just $5.
Nice and smooth. Peyton?
Hey, how do you TDM?
Chicken, burrito, beef, taco, pico, de gallo.
Yeah.
Tuesdays and Thursdays a pork Baja Bowl.
I just can never decide. So I get two.
2 fish tacos, rice and beans.
Chicken or beef? That is the question.
Wet manda burrito with sour cream and guacamole. As hot as you can get it.
Stop by today and tell us how you TDM.
In Northwest News, incredible new video of an alleged Seattle home invasion caught on tape. A photojournalist comes home to find 2 men inside his house, but unlike most of us, he didn't turn and run. He turned on his camera and gave them the 3rd degree. Cairo's John Berman tells us the story.
Why are you in my house?
I'm probably not gonna have an answer you like.
It's a homeowner's nightmare. Come home to find strangers inside your house. The place trashed.
I look in here and there's a man in my bedroom.
Side profile.
Now, you might turn and run, but not Seattle photojournalist Joe Orsillo. What he did, he got out his camera, started rolling, and started asking questions.
I'm gonna make a news story of you.
Okay.
I wanna know why you're inside my house. You think you had to ruin my house.
The house, he says, was littered with drugs, stolen merchandise, and stolen credit cards.
The place was in shambles. Food was everywhere. Carpeting was ruined. They had crack, cocaine pipes. I understand if you had to sleep here maybe, but why did you have to do that? Dude, why?
Orsillo and his family had been fixing up the home to try to sell it after his mother's death. With his camera rolling, he interrogates one of the alleged intruders.
What is it you think you're allowed to come in here and just do this to my house? Do you know how hard I worked on this house? This is my house I grew up in. This is my bedroom.
A second man was also in the home, but according to Orsillo, he escaped through a bathroom window before police could get there.
And I was like, you know what? I'm going to make an example of you, and you're going to wish you never came into my house because I'm going to tape you.
Police arrested the suspect who was caught on camera. The other suspect is still at large.
An explosion rocked an apartment complex and nearby businesses in Seattle, and police say illegal drug activity is to blame. KING's Adam Mertz spoke to a business owner who saw what happened.
I sell fresh tropical flowers and leis and candles, incense.
In the front of this building is Miley Carlson's flower shop. Behind her store, a vacant apartment.
And it shook the whole building. The whole building was shook.
A blast inside that apartment rattled the building.
I thought someone threw a bomb inside that apartment, but it wasn't. It was blew up from the inside out.
It busted out the windows, shattered the sliding glass door, and knocked this wall right off the foundation.
The fire department said something to do with somebody putting something in the freezer and it blew up.
It appears that this was caused by some type of a drug operation. There was butane being stored in the refrigerator, and that butane went to the bottom of the refrigerator and caused an explosion.
Investigators believe the person who left the butane in the fridge may have been producing hash oil. Seattle police say they also found narcotics inside the apartment, which Carlson says has been vacant for quite a while.
Lucky there's nobody there, because they could have been worse.
That's going to do it for us here at iFIBER One News. We want to thank you for watching. Like us on Facebook for news alerts, or follow us on Twitter. Have a great night, and we'll see you again tomorrow.